Okay, in this video, we're going to be covering invoice adjustments. The first thing you always want to do is open the invoice in another tab so you can put it on your second screen. So let's go ahead and do that now. You want to be looking at identical pages. And our first step, once we have that open on our second monitor, is to add an adjustment invoice. Our first step is update invoice details on the left-hand side. Click on that. And we're going to mark this first adjustment as a COD. And in the invoice summary, you want to type invoice adjustment. If someone asked you to do it, put per and then their name. And then we're going to start deducting the tasks from the original invoice. So you can see here the first one's a miscellaneous service. We're going to hit add a task. We're going to paste the invoice adjustment text and then subtract the exact amount from the original task. Also, you can hit the calculate button up here at the top. And it will drop on a labor task for you too. And for whatever reason, they are charging 1 hour of labor, so we're going to go with that. Click save. One thing I forgot to do is paste this here, and then we're going to put negative in front of the unit price and the sold hours on the bottom. Now that we have that, let's move on to the trip charge. Go to trip-1, and let's put negative 40 here, and save. And then our final task is a overtime task. That is labor-8 for an HVAC technician. Quantity is 1. Unit price is $149.95. Make sure to also put a minus sign in front of the sold hours and click save. And I noticed here on the original labor task, I didn't put 5 as a quantity, so I'm going to fix that. Check the totals to make sure they match. I can see that the original invoice is $813.90, and I can see here it's for the same amount. Thank you, and I will see you on the next one. Okay, we're now going to do the second invoice adjustment to bill the correct customer for this invoice. This was originally billed to Meridian Senior Living. We need to actually bill it to Gentry Park. So we're going to go to add an adjustment invoice one more time. You can see up here, it has a -2 after the invoice number. That signifies that this is the second invoice adjustment. And it'll go on from there in a sequential order. Okay, now that we have that, we're going to click Update Invoice Details. Now we're going to select this as whatever payment term the customer is. So I can see up here in the top right that they're a net 30 payment term. So we're going to select that to give them just as long to pay this invoice after we bill it. Next, we're going to change the bill to, this is actually the most important part of the process, selecting the correct customer that we're going to bill this to. So now that we have selected that, we're going to copy the invoice summary word for word on our second monitor, come back here and paste it. And with that, we'll save. Now that we have that, we can start adding tasks. The first one, miscellaneous service. And that is for 124.20. Our second task is labor -7. That is for 5 hours of labor at $99.95. Click save. Our next task will be labor 8 or 1 hour of overtime that this HVAC technician did on this job. So this overtime rate is $149.95. We could also use the calculate button in the beginning, but I'm showing you the manual way of doing it. Okay, we now have that, and the last task is the trip charge. Trip-1 is the one you use. Once again, we could use a calculate button for this to drop the price in, but we know it's $40. And we're going to click save. And let's check the totals. Total is $813.90. Looking at our original invoice here that I have on my other monitor, I can see the total is $813.90. Perfecto. So we no longer need this tab. The invoice adjustment is done. We're going to click on this link to go back to the original invoice and scroll to the bottom. And we can see here we subtracted $813.90 from Meridian Senior Living. And our second invoice adjustment billed that total to Gentry Park. With that, appreciate your time. Thank you.